limitations of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond. What's up, everybody?
Jesus
Welcome
Christ.
to Podcast Beyond, episode 205. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside PlayStation Team Dynamo, Ryan Clements.
Hello.
He only does everything, Colin Moriarty.
I doubt it.
And a special guest to be named later from another podcast whenever he gets up here. Because it's one of those things that I said, oh, we forgot about you, come up. And he said, okay. And then I started walking there. I heard, wait a second. And I was like, well, too late. We got to go. We got a show to do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Podcast Beyond, IGN's official PlayStation podcast. Of course, if you don't know what IGN is, IGN.com. You should go there and read stuff.
What does it
Stop just
stand
stealing
for?
everything from iTunes.
What does it stand for?
Is Greg naked? And every day you come and you find out if I'm naked or not. Am I naked?
That's a good question.
You don't
That's a new
know.
one.
You won't
It's a
know
good-
unless you
it's a
check
good
it daily. How's the week been, boys?
Tiring.
It has been
It's a short week.
It's been a rough week.
It's a short week, but it's jam-packed with things to do.
Yeah, it's true. Well, it was a rough weekend, and then we just got that.
Understated.
Yeah. And then Monday, we had a Monday off.
Monday was off.
But it wasn't a very restive Monday for me.
Yeah.
And then the week began in earnest.
Yeah. You've been working on the NHL 12. You're trying to get that review out, but you're not going to get it out.
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
I'm just never gonna do it.
Why not? For real, why not? put it out?
No, I'm good. So, EA has given us like a series of online times to play, with them and stuff, and it's like not enough time for me to play on both consoles and to get the full experience. And I've really been honestly hearing some stories. I was talking to one of the one-up editors who reviews NHL games for them, and he was saying that the online experience for these games is typically different once the game launches, and he waits as a rule of thumb until the game comes out. And I was like, that's interesting to know. I don't want to give a game a score and not be able to be confident in it. So I'm just going to wait and play on the retail servers with everyone. Yeah. And so the review will go up Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
Ladies
there
and
he
gentlemen,
is.
Nintendo voice chat's own Sam Claiborn, everybody. You probably know him as Chris Carl's brother from Free Shit, but here he is. Remember, replace the I with a 1. That's how it works. Sam, how the hell are you?
Good.
Welcome to Podcast Beyond.
Thank you. I just walked in.
Give me a Beyond.
Beyond
That's good enough. Good job. All right. How's your week been?
Beyond.
We're talking about how the weeks are going.
my week.
Yeah.
I've been playing Resistance nonstop.
Oh,
so
have you?
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Have you been,
Welcome.
as teasing topic of the week, have you been enjoying the Resistance?
I really like Resistance. I haven't played any multiplayer though. I only played the beta, and that was kind of brutal.
Very interesting.
You played the beta and you cheated in it.
I did. I cheated the crap out of that beta.
Yeah, if you've seen the Invisible Man glitch video on IGN where you can't be seen or killed, that's Sam.
Greg, you're being eclipsed by this light.
Sorry. Well, see, I can't. It's got the dumb. Oh no, it's
Much
hard to read
better.
my
That's
papers.
the end of that.
Yeah.
You can't read
I'm gonna
Ah,
work
it's
on it.
fine. No, it's fine. Every stop. We're
What
gonna
did
focus on the show.
What did the founders do with the candlelight?
They went to bed at like 8:30.
That's a myth.
No,
It's a myth.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
do you have like their journals of I'm going to bed now? It's 10:30.
The sun just
Is that
set,
a
so there's
persistent
nothing
myth
to
where
do.
people are always saying like, I know what time they went to bed, and then it's a lie?
No, I mean I'm just saying like yeah, people went to bed earlier typically, but they didn't go to bed like right when the sun went down. They're like, all right, that's it. I'm going to bed now. And then when the sun comes back up, they're like, just like that, they wake
But
up.
when they run into stuff,
Well, no, they have candles, and they would read and write and talk and
just kidding.
and socialize.
Will you at least give me that? There's just not enough detail to know right now. There's not enough historical data to know.
There's plenty of historical data, but yes, okay.
All right. fine.
Onward.
Clements, how's your week been? You just put up a giant
Yeah.
review today.
It's been a disaster, man.
What?
It's been a disaster. It's been an okay disaster. It's not like,
A
it's
beautiful
not like
disaster?
it's not,
Ooh.
yeah. It's not as if my life is bad right now. My life is just a little tricky right now.
life is terrible.
A little tricky.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's...
why do you hate Eco so much?
It amazes me how much my schedule changes when you're the event lead for something, especially something that's overseas, and especially something where 2 of the people that are going with you are international editors, so they're not even in the office to coordinate. It's tricky.
You'll be gone next week.
We're
Doing
gonna
the
Be all
TGS
gone
thing.
next week, yep.
Where's TGS?
It's in Tokyo.
Where is Tokyo?
Tokyo is in Japan.
Don't push any further.
Okay.
Actually, the interesting thing is that TGS, Tokyo Game Show, is actually in like the town Makuhari, which is like near Tokyo.
I
Nice
like Makuhari.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
What's it?
I like Makuhari.
Makuhari is cute.
It's a nice little town. Go
Nice
to the
little-
restaurant building. My favorite building.
The restaurant building.
Yeah, just floor after floor.
Find
some
the
restaurants.
restaurant.
That's one of the things I love about Japan is that you go into a building and you think to yourself, oh my goodness, this first floor is pretty cool, I guess. And then there's 8 other floors of stuff that you can check out in that one building.
People in Makahari get down. That was the one where me and Damon went up to the 4th floor sushi shop, ate in the window, and we saw, first off, a dude carried out of a bathroom that I went in there. He's vomiting all over the floor. His friends, and he's in a business suit. His friends carried him out. And then while we're back at the bar, we look out the window. A medical team with a stretcher came in and took a girl out of the girls' bathroom for being too drunk.
Oh
People
my
know what's going on in
goodness.
Makahari.
Wow.
They're party manimals, man.
Yeah.
When the Japanese get down, they get down
Did you call them
hard.
party mammals?
Manimals.
Was that a cartoon, Manimals?
It
sounds
sounds
like it.
something. It's not. It's no
Beast Wars?
sewer sharks or
sewer
whatever
sharks.
that was. That what it was called?
Sewer Shark is a
Shark.
Sega CD.
Street Shark.
Street Sharks. Wasn't there Street Sharks or?
Jawsome.
Yeah, Jawsome.
There's like
Yes.
the hand puppet sharks. Remember those? I think those are the Street Sharks.
That sounds
you
about
put
right.
your hand in this big like plastic
Right,
thing, and it was
right.
a shark.
What the hell were we playing with? Okay. Well, I wasn't really.
And
playing
then
with
also, do you think they're going to let you in after today you shit all over 2 of their favorite games of all time? How dare you,
I don't
sir?
know.
People I'm talking about. of
It's
course.
interesting that you say shit all over because I don't think that's what happened.
You didn't give it Eco. Everybody, today Ryan reviewed the Eco and Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus HD collection,
Owl, bro.
and he gave it an 8.5.
Owl,
8.5.
An editor's choice. How
fi-
dare
a
you,
fine
sir?
score.
How dare you?
It's a great game, and I gave it an award, and people still
9.0.
aren't happy.
That is the only
Amazing.
score IGN ever gives out anymore.
8.5 shit.
You want to talk about those games?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about them now?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Well, they didn't come out this week, so I mean, I want to make sure we touch on them. It's been, if you didn't notice, ladies and gentlemen, the crunch is upon us. Colin's working on NHL. Resistance
It's getting
3 is out.
crunchy.
I did Dead Island this week. You just did the Shadow collection.
Yeah. So the first of all, anyone should go out and get that Shadow of the Colossus / Eco collection.
Hey, you didn't play Ego when it came out, right?
Correct.
That's pretty awesome that you got to experience
so
it the
this-
first time this way. Well, it must have felt like, I mean,
you
without the
hated it.
nostalgia, that game is, like, as you pointed out, like, short and simple and kind of frustrating.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, I can speak legions about that. I really respect and appreciate Shadow of the Colossus. I think it's a fine game, and I really enjoy playing it. Eco is a very cool game with some awesome ideas and a great setting, but in terms of the gameplay, it has not aged well. There's video proof of how dumb the fucking AI is in that game. It's infuriating. All you want to do is, I want to continue playing and enjoying myself, and you're standing around and you're like, Eco, 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 and the fucking princess is just not. She just stands around.
You should hold her hand.
Stands around.
Yeah, you're supposed to hold her hand.
You can't bring her up a
Spoilers.
ladder. You can't. Sometimes she has to climb a ladder by herself.
You're doing
And
it wrong.
Newsflash: when she does, she's an
Clements
idiot.
does not know how to
Also,
play Eco.
That
typically,
is why I gave it a bad score. He just doesn't know how to play.
And,
typically you can't spoil a 10-year-old game, by the way. So spoil the shit out
No,
of it.
somebody wrote into Beyond this week saying when we talk about Metal Gear Solid, we need to say spoilers.
No, sorry, nope, sorry, not doing that. I'm gonna recount the entire Metal Gear Solid plot.
Without being
Came out in
spoiler heavy,
1998.
there is a really cool false ending in the game, which I think is really neat.
What's that?
There's just like a kind of a false ending, and then like there's a little bit tacked onto it.
Yeah,
It's
no,
really
I
neat.
actually. So that,
Clements, what?
that's the
He
thing.
didn't even finish.
I played the wrong game.
I wrote in the. You guys at the right shop.
You went underdog or underdogs?
I'm sorry.
Are you sure you're at this shop?
Oh, what a great inside joke for everybody listening.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, no, I. That's actually my favorite part of the game is the entire ending section, which. What's the word?
Rocks.
Not
Sucks.
not ironically. Fittingly is when you don't actually have Yorda with you and you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Surprise! That's actually the coolest part of the game, and also I think the story comes together in a really cool way at the end.
Yeah. You get some wacky weapons in that game too, right? I don't know if you I think if you play through the second time. and this is not a spoiler. 'cause it's
I didn't get
everything,
the
but
secret.
don't.
I didn't get the secret mace.
there's
If
a
that's
mace-
what you're
but there-
talking
there's
about.
the lightsaber.
I didn't get the lightsaber.
It's funny. I mean, it's only.
I only
like,
beat.
once you
I only
it.
beat it once.
Yeah.
We started a second playthrough just to test.
What do you think of the
multiplayer.
connections between the games?
Spoilers.
I mean, I always considered them a little
Do you think
more
they're connected?
spiritual.
I mean, I can't tell if they are.
I think that it's more of a spiritual connection than a
Direct.
direct connection. I kind of have a feeling that they both. I mean, they exist in the same world.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are two different areas. I mean,
I was hoping the HD treatment would actually make them seem like they're more similar to each other than not. But you feel like Shadow of the Colossus still stands out as a Much better.
I think that they can very easily be taken as a pair,
Okay.
and they can sort of be enjoyed, and it's kind of like you're hearing about one country's history, and there's another country in the same world that shares a lot of links, but you're just getting their story.
I'm worried The Last Guardian is going to be a lot more eco than Shadow of the Colossus.
Mm-hmm. I think that's possible.
Calling to the giant rat dog.
Yeah,
You going to play that this next week? Or whatever?
Actually, I don't know.
Do you think, I wonder if that'll be playable at TGS.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. If it was, I don't even know if I'd be allowed to talk about it. I kind of forgot.
You know what concerns me about that game? That it's been in development for over 5 years. That's what concerns me.
Are
about
you
that
still
game.
under embargo from when you went and saw it and saw the Vita get announced as the NGP?
No,
because I remember there was a ridiculous embargo attached to that.
There was a ridiculous embargo on that. No. Last Guardian, I think is going to be awesome, and I think that now the team has modern, capabilities. They have a lot more experience, and I think that the AI in that game will probably be spot on. And I think that was my biggest qualm with Eco. And
you don't think it'd be calling to that big dragon monster the whole time?
I hope not.
Dragon monster. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let's begin the show proper with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news.
All right, I'm taking over.
Oh yeah, Colin Moriarty's Roper Report, as read by Colin Moriarty.
This is only five items long this week. It's a real short one.
We got
25 minutes later.
Here's something interesting.
Yeah. What?
No, I'm making fun of it.
That's not
It's going to be
nice.
some insignificant fact nobody cares about.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all.
Okay.
One, Rockstar has given Max Payne 3 a release date.
Max Payne?
Kind of. Max Payne 3 is now slated to be released sometime in March 2012. I'll believe it when I see it.
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Number
guarantee
2.
it.
Does anyone care about that game anymore? I'm just
I
really
do.
not, I'm not really
I'm
that
still
excited about it.
I liked Max Payne, the franchise. I'm excited to see what happens with it.
I only like the movie.
Jesus.
That's fair. That's fair.
Sam, why?
It's a joke.
Number 2.
That was a joke.
Number 2, From Dust, the XBLA strategy game released this past July. Now has a date on PlayStation Network. Look for it in Europe on September 14th, in North America on September 27th. It will cost $14.99.
It's 1 cent cheaper than Xbox.
Boom. We win.
So disappointed about the price, the rising price of downloadable content.
It seems like it's not even rising anymore. It's just there.
Yeah, that's what it
15
it
bucks
is. What
seems
it
like
is
it
now.
is for games now.
Yeah, it's just.
Inflation, bro.
$15. Wow.
Somebody's got to feed Jeff Rubenstein.
Seems like it's already at $25.
I know. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Number 3. So many Vita games have already been announced, including 18 being shown at TGS that we have yet to be revealed at all.
Oh my god.
18.
Oh my god.
Unannounced Vita.
Ubisoft announced that it will be showing off new Vita games of its own, including Rayman Origins.
All right, gents.
Luminous
a good
Electronic Symphony, and Michael Jackson: The Experience.
Yeah,
Nice.
Michael
MJ
Jackson.
is coming to Vita.
Oh my
You reviewing that one?
goodness.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's going to use the front-facing camera.
Why
so you
not? Why
dance in
not
front of it.
just? Why not just have me write a 6th review of that game? Because I have written 5 separate reviews.
We
for those games.
intend on doing just that.
Too bad you like dancing so much.
I know. Stop talking about your love of the nightlife.
Have you reviewed a portable
Never.
version
Boogie.
of a Jackson game yet?
2.
What are they
PSP
like?
and DS. PSP was a 2-button rhythm game, and the DS version, probably the best in terms of gameplay, was a Owen Don clone,
Yeah, so you're tapping little circles.
tapping circles and rolling it along the screen. But it only had like 12s.
It's no Moonwalker.
That's riveting stuff. Number 4, Resistance 3 just came out this week, and DLC has already been announced. On October 4th, the survival pack will be released for $3.99.
Is that just multiplayer?
Yeah,
It will include a new multiplayer mode called Invasion. I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
And a slew of multiplayer skins.
When
Okay.
does Resistance actually come out?
It came out Tuesday.
It came out last Tuesday.
Wait, have we played Invasion in the
Tuesday.
beta though?
It's out.
Isn't that
It's out now?
Yeah.
That
No.
wasn't the capture.
People are
the,
playing and buying
the
it.
I don't think
territories?
so.
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe it's more like a
Why did I
Halo
think it was coming out
firefight
next
game.
I think it's like King of the Hill.
Yeah.
That's why.
And finally, number 5, Resident Evil turns 15 soon, and Sony is celebrating with great deals on the PlayStation Store. PS Plus subscribers will be able to download the HD remakes of Resident Evil 4 and Code Veronica for half their normal price. And PS1 classics Resident Evil, Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 will be free. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Jacob writes into Beyond at IGN.com and
Yes.
says, will Greg and Colin replay Resident Evil 4 for trophies?
Absolutely.
At 50% off, I've got to buy it. Just wish they'd patch in some more friggin' ammo. I mean, my God.
My God.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great trophy game. That'd be
No.
awesome.
Resident Evil 4 is
4?
awesome, dude.
Fuck
It's
that.
great.
I'm not playing that again.
You're nuts, man. Resident Evil 4 is awesome.
Tank controls, I don't like them. Moving sluggishly moving, not a fan.
Do you like any Resident Evil game?
I do
No.
not like how you cannot
I
move
respect
and
that.
shoot.
Sorry, it's just not my thing. Code Veronica struggled through. struggled through
Resident Evil.
RE4.
I understand
Started
struggling.
RE5. I'm like, fuck it.
I understand struggling to Resident
Sorry,
Evil
man.
5 because that game's garbage.
Two,
but Resident Evil 4 is
controls
awesome.
were just like so bad I couldn't do it. I tried it on GameCube, Resident Evil 1. Couldn't do it. Just can't.
Oh, remake?
No, yeah.
That was awesome too.
I respect what these games do. Don't get me wrong. You know me. I'm not sitting here saying they're bad games. It's just I can't. I want to have fun when I play games, and those games inherently make me not have fun when I play them.
Well, you don't know how to have fun then.
Okay, well, I got to find the herbs, and I got to find the freaking crest seal, and I got the chainsaw guy who's getting shot in the fucking face and won't drop, and just go away. Stupid zombie.
You do have to find the herbs, man. I'll tell you that. You'll have a good time with the herbs.
Colin.
Yes.
You missed a story there on the Roper Report. A story you broke, a worldwide exclusive, that the best Resistance game, Resistance Retribution, was going to get a sequel.
I meant to put that up.
Did not happen.
Do you really think that's the best Resistance game?
It's my favorite.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
so I had this really extensive interview with Ben Studio, which are the guys that are doing Golden Abyss, and we were able to talk for over half an hour about the history of the studio, and they gave me a lot of interesting facts, and there's a pretty extensive 1,800 word article on it right now on IGN.
Tell your friends we're very happy with it. It's a very interesting read about how they went from these terrible games to Siphon Filter to Resistance now to Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Yeah, so they started with they started as a developer for Apple Newton, which nerds will know was like Apple's first PDA in the early '90s, and then they created Bubsy 3D, which is a really early PlayStation game. Yeah,
You're kidding me.
Yeah, they made Bubsy 3D.
That's like notoriously one of the worst games ever made.
Yeah, and so
it's why this is such a fascinating
it's
read.
Fascinating because they talk about it really candidly, and they're like,
and you've seen the walkthrough videos.
Yeah,
the mildly
he's
autistic guy kind of like going through.
That's so good.
It's incredible.
We should link to those actually in the Podcast Beyond article because those videos are freaking awesome.
This guy deadpanning this walkthrough.
Yeah, like he knows everything about Bubsy 3D. Anyway, so it's fascinating because they talk so candidly really about Bubsy and how they went to E3 that year and they saw Crash Bandicoot, and the quote was like, "God, we're fucked."
Yeah.
When they saw it, that's
awesome.
And like because it's really fascinating contextually that they're talking about, man, like this 3D polygonal stuff is interesting and we don't really know what to do with it. So like their whole thing was we have these huge wide open areas. Their engine didn't even support textures, because like they didn't think that they needed them, and so like it was like this whole like wide open.
They were right.
It was like this whole wide open thing.
And prove them right.
The game was like actually actually running in like a higher resolution than most PlayStation games before or after it, and like there was like all these things they're really proud of, like the draw distance in the game is really impressive. But then they saw Crash Bandicoot.
If you've never seen that game though, it's just like a blank planetscape.
Yeah, it's
with
like
no textures and just like Bubsy awkwardly walking around with one analog stick.
So it's like it's a little strange, but it's fascinating to hear them talk about it, and they talked about how they segued to Siphon Filter because Sony had approached them and been like, there's this game called GoldenEye on 64. We really want to do a spy genre game, and they made this like killer.
Wow, I never knew Siphon Filter was inspired by GoldenEye.
Yeah,
That's
and
very
like this trilogy of killer PlayStation games that are really famous, and then how they made 7 Siphon Filter games in a row. And then how they made Resistance Retribution, and then how they're making Uncharted Golden Abyss. So this is actually a studio that's kind of under the radar, but has like great pedigree because, with the exception of Bubsy 3D and maybe some of the later like PSP Siphon Filters, those games are all awesome.
What are you talking about? The PSP Siphon Filters were returned to form. It was, I think, when you're talking about Siphon Filter like 3 and stuff, that's when people are like starting to ignore that franchise. I'm like, I'm done with this. I don't want this. Metal Gear is.
I think you were a really big advocate of those Siphon Filter.
Totally,
games.
yeah. And like
the only one I've ever played is one you recommended on
Logan
the PSP.
Shadow. Logan Shadow is the best one. It's their last one there, and it's one of those things where we put that on the top 25 PSP list, and we're getting ready to update that. And some kid emailed me the other day, he's like, I just played that, and you're totally crazy. And it's like, well, come on now. I don't know how it ages that well.
Like, the game plays a lot like Resistance. I didn't realize
totally, yeah.
it was
Resistance.
the same
Well, yeah.
developer.
Resistance plays a lot like the Siphon Filter ones.
Yeah. That's what it is.
But they went and fixed like in Resistance you have like that auto aim hitbox, so you just have to get the hitbox around people and stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so anyway, the article is interesting. Go check it out. We'll go to
IGN.com.
Yeah, go to IGN.com, IGN PS3, IGN PSP. It'll all be running there. And yeah, it's just an interesting little story. I like that kind of stuff. If you're a real gaming industry nerd like I am, and you just want to read that kind of fascinating stuff.
How things came to be.
Yeah, how things came to be, how the studio went about its business.
Where are they located?
Bend, Oregon.
Whoa, so they deal with Japan, like with some like liaison or something. I mean, they made Japanese games. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, Worldwide Studios kind of coordinates everything. Our friend Shuhei Yoshida
Big ups.
Kind of coordinates.
Yo SP and platinum trophy.
There are 15 first parties,
SP.
and he coordinates between all of them, I believe. So, but anyway, yeah, these guys, and what's interesting too is their relationship with Insomniac, with Resistance, and how they tried to make that second Resistance Retribution game, which we broke in that story, and they had a demo for it and everything, and they weren't able to do it, and then and then how.
Well, I don't think the first Resistance for PSP sold well.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what they're doing now, right? Like it makes sense that they were like. Yeah, but the PSP games aren't selling well. Let's try doing this.
Right.
Get you ready for this project. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then their relationship with Naughty Dog with Uncharted, and how a lot of the early ideas were shot down, and Amy and Evan from Naughty Dog are really integral in helping them develop this game and give them ideas.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. That's really crucial because I'd be worried about Uncharted going to anybody else's hands.
Honestly, I don't. The vibe I got was that with both Insomniac and especially Naughty Dog was that these studios would not have signed off on these ideas, even though they don't own those names. Sony does. That they wouldn't have been so helpful in developing these games if they didn't trust that it was going to be done properly. And I think the consensus is that Retribution was done properly, and sure. That Golden Abyss certainly looks awesome. Yeah. So
is the Retribution sequel announced for Vita? Is that what's happening?
No, it just never got off the ground.
It was something they demoed, and he worked for 6 weeks on it, and they put together a demo, and then it just didn't come together. They never made the game.
All right, got it.
But what I like about Retribution is that it has the most chronology and history out of all the Resistance games, and that's what I'm interested in.
And you know what I like least about Resistance 3 is that it has the least amount of.
I know.
Save it for topic of the week, everybody.
Personal stuff.
Yeah. So that's all the news.
All right. Colin.
Yes.
Very excited for this Uncharted Vita game. Can't wait.
Me too.
But it's not out for a long time.
Nope.
If I wanted to play games that were out right now, where would I go to find out where they are and where they have come from?
That's a complicated question. You go to the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors. Boop, boop, boop. Nope, that's it. All right. So this is actually quite the week. No PSP games, no PS2 games.
I don't believe it.
PS3, Warhammer 40K, Space Marine. Driver, San Francisco.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Coma mode.
Dead Island. Disgaea 4.
There's another Disgaea.
Yeah,
there's always another Disgaea.
Incredible.
There's always another level.
Penguins of Madagascar, Dr. Blowhole returns.
I will not lie to you. When Colin found this, announced it, immediately we went to ps3trophies.org. We look at it. It looks like a great platinum.
Yeah.
I would say 80 to 85% of the trophies are just finishing levels, and then it's like collect these snow cones. I've reached out to THQ to get copies of this game. We will report back soon.
Yes. Uncharted Dual Pack.
Oh yeah.
And finally, Resistance 3.
Is Uncharted Dual Pack on 1 disc?
No, 2 discs.
Hence the duel. That leads us to what came out digitally. What's Jeff Rubenstein and his wife been cranking away on?
All right, well, House Rubenstein have been working on Blood Rain Betrayal. That came out this week.
Awesome game.
Rugby 2011, Skydrift, as well as, let's see if they're... Sorry, I didn't get a chance to highlight any of these.
Fine.
So
Conversational podcast. You do what you need to do.
Let's see. Anything else going on here that's kind of crazy? I don't know. Doesn't look like it. Hold on.
Is it Mega Man Rugby?
Let's go to the... Oh, Mega Man. You can import Mega Man 4, Kyle. So there's that.
Pretty good game. Pharaoh Man, Ring Man, Dust Man.
Hey, let's do the minis.
Toad Man.
Let's do the minis. We got Alpha Mission, Doodle Fit.
Sold.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
The Impossible Game, TNK3.
Okay.
And Vanguard 2.
Wow. Some winners in that one.
Sequels. Good. Sequels of minigames. Good.
Colin, Ryan, same.
Yeah.
This brings us to pick of the week. Lots of great games on this list.
Yeah, but it's a pretty obvious choice.
You got the Blood Rain. Colin, you loved it.
Blood Rain's awesome.
You got the Dead Island. I loved it.
Yeah,
Colin,
Dead
how do you
Island's
feel it? You liking it?
Yeah, I like it.
You got the Driver. Keza loved it, right? It was Keza.
Yeah.
And I've played it before. It's fun. Definitely fun. And then you got the Resistance 3.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Blood Rain.
3.
Blood Rain. No, that game looks cool.
It is.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, I beat the shit out of
Those
that
games
game.
are for very different people, right? Resistance and Blood Rain.
Yeah, Blood Rain is not for people that don't have old school sensibilities, basically. Yeah, don't play Blood Rain if you don't like hard games. But it's really good, really rewarding. But Resistance 3 is the best game on that list, no doubt.
Clements. Anything to chime in here with?
You've
been
Vanguard
slammed on
2.
the
Yeah,
ecos.
I'm more excited. Vanguard 2. There it is. No, wait. I'm actually most,
I'm
most
curious about
excited
Space
for
Marine.
Doodle Fit.
No good.
Anthony's reviewing
Space
Space
Marine. I think that's
Anthony's
great.
reviewing Space
Yeah,
Marine.
Space
I
Marine
watched it
looked
over his
cool.
shoulder.
I think it looks cool.
When I saw it at E3, man, it put me to sleep.
I played it at E3, and the
But
only
it was
thing
in a rocket ship. At E3, remember that?
Well,
It was in a rocket ship.
for Judges Week when they gave the whole demonstration. Here's an orc.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I played it there, and the one lasting impression I had was that this game feels really heavy, and I don't like games that
Well,
feel
you
like
are
that.
wearing gigantic body armor.
Eh,
I will say
whatever.
that I am more excited for Resistance than Blood Rain, though I would also like to play Blood Rain.
You should play both.
Honestly, I kind of just want like a Castlevania game.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I've kind of been ever since we've been talking about it a lot. I kind of want to go back and play Lords of Shadow. I never got to that.
Hell of a game. Now I'll tell you this. Mark, Ryan, and I every week or so go out to dinner, and we go to the same place, this burger place that we really love.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we went and watched the Republican debate at the house. That's when Greg farted on my bed and stuff like that via Twitter. While we were at dinner, we got into this really lengthy conversation about Castlevania, and it's really confusing because they just don't give much love to Castlevania games in terms of the Metroidvania style anymore. And I was saying that I would play a game like that every year.
Yep.
Every year. They should be developing a game like that every year and just
They were doing
release
that
it.
for DS for a while.
I know. And then we were talking,
I'm
we were like, when's the last Castlevania game come out like that? And I was like, 2009? And he was like, I think it's, and it was a cliche, and it's 2008.
Yeah, 2008.
It's like, what the hell are you guys doing? You could have released 3 of those. I would play every one of those games. Is awesome. Every one of them. And I don't even.
Ecclesia is the best one yet, I think. I think it's like my favorite Castlevania.
I get them all confused. It's
Fantastic.
like Circle of the Moon, Harmony, this, blah, blah,
Ecclesia-
blah.
I liked Charlotte as a character, and then Ecclesia had like another girl that was.
Ecclesia
cool.
was a woman, right?
Yeah,
A black-haired
Ecclesia
woman?
had no weapons, which was cool too. It was like all skills.
Yeah.
Like, so you had to like steal the skills from the enemies you beat.
I
That's
like
a cool
that
game.
idea. I'm gonna go back to
Remember
play
the
that.
Fighter for Wii? Did you play that?
Oh, yeah, I played that at E3.
I believe Simon
Castlevania
Belmont
Judgment
was in that.
Terrible, terrible. Anyway, it's like I don't understand why a $20 Castlevania download every year. You can call it Castlevania 2012 for all I care, Castlevania 2013. I don't even care what you call it. Those games would be fun as hell, and people would buy the shit out of those games because all of those other games
Would
are really
they buy
popular.
the shit out of them?
I think they would buy the shit out of
People
them.
really liked Castlevania HD, I think, right? But it just, it was so limited if you didn't want to just grind all the time.
Castlevania-
the Harmony of Distance or whatever.
Oh, the online multiplayer
Yeah,
one.
like it was that made it on PSN eventually.
Yeah,
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
Oh, it's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. I'm gonna play
like
that. And that's
6
exciting, but it's
levels
like
and-
I want a self-contained 40-hour inverted castle style Castlevania game.
Dude, Blood Rain seems like that game though. Like,
It is, but
good.
it has just one kind of collectible. There's no
no whip,
upgrading
right?
really. Like no, there's no whip. You have a gun and swords. You upgrade only like her ammo or her
In the
health.
review, you posed the hypothesis that this is by Way Forward.
Yeah.
You put out there that you think maybe they pitched this as a
a
Castlevania game, and
There's
then it got rejected. And
There's
they
no
put
doubt
it
in my mind about it, to be honest, because it's like
Same with Shantae, which they also made, which is awesome. Shantae Risky's Revenge.
They have a good track record, and like more recently with Konami, they have a Contra game. They did a real Contra game, so they have a relationship with Konami. So what my inkling was like, they developed this game. When you really play Blood Rain, and people can write in at beyond@ign.com and tell me, you can. It's not only the aesthetic quality of the game. It's like there are certain enemy behaviors and things like that are just like they just use different enemies. The one thing that really sticks out to me are there's like these missile like enemies that like float on the screen going up and down. I'm like, those are Medusa heads. Those are clearly Medusa heads. From Castlevania.
We were talking about this yesterday, and the same thing with Shantae, which is their most recent Castlevania Metroid thing. And that in that game, you're like a girl, and her hair is your whip, and all the levels have like kind of like there's levels with how like Halloween type themes and stuff. It's very Castlevania feeling. And that Way Forward is Mark Bozon, ex IGN writer's brother.
Yeah, his brother is. I think
I've talked to him a few times, and he's definitely brought up that like they want to do a Castlevania game.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And yeah, I didn't even realize that Mark Bozon had worked on the game until I saw his name in the credits. I didn't really make that connection.
He did that, yeah, he's worked on a few of them. I think also Contra and some Sand, because I remember they're like, well, we can't review it now.
Him and his brother did the Mighty
Flip Champs.
There it is. That's the one. That's on PSN as a mini now.
Dude, I don't know. Way Forward cooks out so many games. It's like,
Yeah, pretty
Good on them. Good on
small,
them.
It's crazy.
small, nimble studio. It seems like they were real. When I saw when I was blown away by Blood Rain Betrayal at E3, which is what I wrote about in the review, I was totally blown away by it because I had this like appointment and like to see all these games, and I'm like, they really wanted to show me Blood Rain, and I was like working I'm like Blood Rain, like. I don't really know much about the series. I've heard nothing but terrible things, frankly,
Yeah.
about it. And
I love the
but I'll
movie.
see it. Obviously, this is the biggest thing they want. And I'm like,
Do you
this
really?
game's awesome.
no.
Was that another joke, Sam?
Yeah,
All right, that was good. That was a fun joke.
I only like the movie.
So So anyway, pick of the week is Resistance 3.
All right, great. What trophy tips do you have for Resistance 3? You said you wanted to bring a bit.
Okay, so here's the crazy thing, and Sam can help me because he's writing the guide for IGN. Is there are 59 trophies in Resistance 3, and there's like 1 gold trophy, 4 silver, and then 55
that's really
bronze,
strange.
something like that.
And the bronze, some of the bronzes are really tough. So.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. I still can't figure one of them out, but we'll talk about it.
Benmo316 writes in and says, "Hey, Greg and Colin, were you disappointed by the lack of silver and gold trophies for Resistance 3?
No,
Just gives you more to do.
I think, yeah, I understand what they were trying to do. I think I like a game. Sam and I were talking about this a while ago. I like a game that gives you a trophy for beating a level or beating a chapter or whatever.
Yeah.
That seems like kind of a prerequisite. And I think that there's actually, it's not that there's too many trophies, it's that there's just too many, there's not enough trophies that, like, you could beat the game and get like 4 trophies. You know, it's easily possible to miss basically every trophy in the game. So, with the exception of the silver for beating it and like some for like using Augur 30 times and like some other ones. But there are like some really obscure trophies. And there's still one of them I can't figure out, Sam. Have you figured out the one about knocking the guy off the cliff?
No, we were talking about that. Yeah.
I cannot.
What is it? What's the trophy?
There's a trophy at Point Pleasant. It's called, right, in Pennsylvania.
It's in the cliffs.
Yeah, it's the third section of
First sniper section.
Yeah, the very beginning of it. There's 5 sections in Resistance 3, and this is the third section. And you're in Pennsylvania, and there are hybrids that are
Spoilers.
No, I want to point out that this isn't going to
joke.
be a spoiler episode, so don't worry.
No,
if you
no,
haven't
no.
played it, our questions for Resistance 3 and stuff, we're going to dance around story. But I mean, yeah.
And so this
There
is
are
you don't want
hybrids
to know
in the
how we don't know how to unlock this trophy, I guess. Yeah.
So when and I'll just say also that when Marcus and James Stevenson came to show us Resistance at E3, this is the exact scene they showed us. So you will have probably already seen this. But there are hybrids and they're camouflaged, like they have like some sort of camo on, and they have sniper rifles, they have dead eyes, and there's a trophy in this section to knock one of them off their perch. Like, what is the exact language? You remember what the exact
It
language
says
is?
to knock them off the cliff.
Yeah,
I
like
think
knock
it's
them off the
just
cliff.
kill 'em.
I've tried everything to like knock these guys off, like hit them in their cooling pack so they blow up, use a magnum and explode it so it explodes under their
I
feet.
think you might have to sneak up around them. And
I just don't
knock
know how to
them
get up there. Like, it seems like none of those, like, so that's the one trophy that I cannot figure out how to get. But
Concussive Blast, do you got that thing?
with the Rossmore?
No, the cryo gun? I don't know, is that a spoiler? There's a
No,
gun
but you
called
don't
the
have
cryo
the cryo gun yet at that
Okay.
point.
Maybe the Rossmore concussive blast would work.
Yeah, I tried that too, but then like I can't aim the grenade properly, and it's like it's a friggin' mess. Like I don't know how to.
I mean, it's
I
probably
don't-
something really easy. Like you probably just need to throw like a spike grenade up there and knock them off. But like maybe there's just like a certain angle you have to do, or maybe one place doesn't count as a cliff and another one does. Or
Yeah,
Do they have
I
to
don't
be
get it.
alive maybe when they fall?
That's what I was thinking because it's easy to get like a Chimeran body to fly in the air when it's dead.
Well,
Like,
this is a good point. Yeah, we've been playing like I go back and do trophy hunting on easy because you can,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
casual or whatever.
Yeah, I
Like,
did that.
That's like crucial. But on that, like they did die so fast, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe you have to do it on hard or superhuman.
know.
But yeah, like and the other thing that's frustrating is that the trophies are presented chronologically, which is really helpful. Like you missed one if you get the one after the one you had already missed. So there's a trophy you get like literally 2 minutes or 3 minutes after it starts. You have to get through that section without getting hit. And that trophy is after this one, which means that it must be one of those Chimera that you have to kill on that cliff. So that one's really frustrating me.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, I think the game's great for trophies. It's going to take a lot of time. If you want to get the platinum, make sure you beat the game on hard first. Don't play it on normal and then hard because then you're going to have to play it 3 times.
And you know what? Playing on hard is the way to play. Like
I agree.
That's the right difficulty level. It never gets like crazy or anything, but like I can't imagine playing it in an easier mode than that because it feels just right.
I'll tell you what, Superhuman, brutal.
Yeah.
Brutally
Yeah.
hard. I'm halfway through the game on Superhuman. You take, for my judgment, twice as much damage as you take on hard.
And you have it's kind of like New Game Plus, right? Because if you start over, you have
You can keep your weapons and
your
stuff,
upgrades, right?
Yeah, but you don't. So
Oh, there are upgrades too? How does that work?
Yeah.
So
the more
it-
you use a weapon, it's gaining experience as you go.
Yeah.
Like your shotgun becomes like it lights people on fire, and that really helps because when you start the game over again and you're just doing trophy hunting or whatever, you have a shotgun that lights people on fire.
It sounds helpful.
so
definitely is.
yeah, so it's
upgradable weapons.
it's a cool game. It's a rewarding game for trophies. You just have to really chip away at everything. Like some of the silver's really hard. Sam has chronicled all of the journal entries for Malakov's journals, the regular like
There's a lot of
intel
collectibles in
and
this one.
audio diaries.
Crazy.
And then there's silver for upgrading your weapons, which is tough for some of them, like the missile launcher and the cryo gun. You don't really use that much, so it's like you really got to figure out ways to upgrade those weapons. But the cool thing is that you get, for earning trophies, you get in-game points, which are used to unlock cheats and multiplayer skins. And my favorite part are the videos that you get to unlock, which are like documentaries, basically.
Yeah. That's cool.
So, yeah, cool game, good trophies.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and-
cool.
and-
Sam,
sorry.
you're the shaman guide on the IGN wiki for this one. You want to put out a call for help? Where can people help you out in making this guide better?
Man, like you know what? Like the first thing I did was record the whole game, so that's on there, and then we did a big wiki page and all the journal entries, which is awesome. And I think it's the only thing out there right now, the only resource on the tubes until it gets stolen. But yeah, we do need help definitely with multiplayer stuff. So I'll be playing a lot of multiplayer and getting.
So
people on there, but-
guides.ign.com. Find the Resistance 3 guide there.
Yeah,
We don't talk about it enough, but our guides team has like full wiki functionality now.
Yeah.
Right? Not with every
it's
game,
nice.
but with select games.
No, well, it's with everything coming out.
All
now
the new
and
stuff.
we're
Dead
playing some
Island's
old
that
stuff.
way.
Like the
Resistance
Deus
is
Ex
well.
wiki is like kicking ass. Like it's unbelievable how many people are editing and helping out with that. And Resistance has like a more contracted fan base, I think, and we need like some good experts on that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Go and help. Be a part of the IGN crew.
Guides.ign.com.
Definitely. And real quick, we don't want to say too much yet, but people have been asking, will we do a Resistance 3 spoiler cast?
Yeah.
The answer is yes, we are going to do a Resistance 3 spoiler cast. We'll do it in
Can't
probably 2 weeks. And we have a very special guest coming in for that podcast. But
Kyle the Chimera.
Yeah, Kyle the Chimera is
Who
coming in.
doesn't like to move?
Yeah, we're finalizing everything now. We'll have more information for you guys probably next week.
The real question, Colin.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a Resistance 3 editor beatdown? Because you promised there would be last week.
There will be an editor
Okay.
3.
This is your chance, of course, to come play with the podcast.
Editor
crew.
3 beatdown.
So yeah,
and I'm invincible. So
we'll do a Resistance 3 editor beatdown. I wanted to do it this weekend, but actually this weekend's not going to work well, so we'll do it during the week next week.
Okay.
I will post about it on my Twitter and my IGN.
No taxation.
No taxation on Twitter, Moriarty-IGN on my IGN.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get together, we'll play probably just team deathmatch, and we'll try to accommodate as many people as possible. I haven't even jumped online yet with the retail build of the game, so I have to kind of level up and get unlock my incendiary Rossmore, because God, I
Crucial.
need that. It's very crucial.
If you didn't notice, we waded into topic of the week here.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't paying attention. We got swept up in the undercurrent. Topic of the week is Resistance 3. Colin, I'm going to start off with a question here from Blade.
Okay.
He says, before Colin explodes with excitement over Resistance 3, calling it one of the best games of this year, I wanted to say one thing. The human story is very well told, and the art design and setting is a welcome addition to the first-person shooter. Plus the cool upgradable weapons, yada, yada, yada. You will hate me for saying this, but Resistance 3 has become a bro shooter. Dun, 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 dun. Don't hate me, Colin. I respect you beyond.
No, it's not. It's not a bro shooter at all.
How's it not a bro shooter?
I think what people are drawing parallels with is Resistance's online kind of pivot to be more like Call of Duty, and that's fine. And frankly, I don't really give a shit because I don't play the game online really. Resistance to me is all about the single player experience. And I don't know how you can play that single player campaign and say that plays anything like a bro shooter plays. It doesn't. So he's entitled to his opinion. Okay. And maybe online I can see that with the upgrades and the perks and all that. Okay, cool, that's fine. But that's not really relevant to Resistance 3. That's like an aside, an addition to Resistance.
plus, I don't think the campaign's any different from 2 or 1 in like any bro qualities, right? I mean, it
No.
just still feels like it's still like a kind of a nerdy sci-fi.
What defines a
historical
bro? Like
game.
a bro? What are bro qualities? I want to know how you define
Butt slaps.
For the people often, Mark Ryan likes describing bro shooters as games Colin doesn't like.
them. Okay.
But that's not really true. A bro shooter to me is just like a military, more accessible shooter that relies more on contemporary or future settings.
Doesn't need a story?
Yeah, not really story. More multiplayer centric. Really more of a game that caters to everybody, obviously, even to the hardcore gamer. But a game like my cousin who plays only a few games a year, he loves Call of Duty.
Is Halo a bro shooter?
No, I don't think so. I mean, and people often ask, is Gears of War a bro shooter? And I'm like, I don't know.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a borderline.
I mean, I don't have much
Borderline
experience with
bro.
that. I don't have much.
Borderline bro.
I don't have much experience with that series at all, but it seems like it could be. But there are bro shooters I really like. Like I really like Treyarch's Call of Duty games, and those are clearly bro shooters. And Medal of Honor, I like the old Medal of Honor games,
Yeah.
are definitely bro shooters. So
And you love Duke Nukem, right?
I thought Duke Nukem was hilarious. Like I only got through half of it, but like we said about Duke Nukem Forever, and that's definitely a bro shooter, although it's trying to be a bro shooter. The thing about Duke Nukem is that it's funny. Like I think that game clearly didn't take itself seriously, so it's like whatever,
Colin,
Yes.
stop dancing around the questions here.
Okay.
You are the biggest Resistance fan in the office.
Yes.
You've been locked up tight. You haven't been able to speak about Resistance.
Yeah,
really
I've been
quite a
playing it
while.
it's so frustrating because people like on Twitter are like, when are we gonna get the review? And like, what do you think of it? And I'm like, I can't talk about, like, I can't talk to you about it. So
Now the shackles are off.
Yeah.
What do you think of Resistance 3?
I think it's the
Someone's making a phone call soon.
Yeah, I think it's next door.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot of fun.
I don't know if Sam has a lot of experience with the series, so I don't know if he would agree with me. I think Resistance 3 is definitely the strongest game in the series, but
I'm a two-man.
I like Resistance 2 a lot too. I've always said Fall Man is the worst one in the series. You know,
I agree.
And I don't know why people are so fond of that game.
You're crazy.
It's a good
title.
game. It's an awesome game, but Resistance 3 feels and looks better, has like a dark story and stuff like that. I was disappointed with two things about it. The length of the game, it's short. Like and it's longer than most shooters, but it's not Resistance length. Like Fall of Man took a solid like 14 hours to beat. I mean, that was a long game, you know, and Resistance 2 was definitely a long game too, much longer than Resistance 3. So that was disappointing. And also, it's not a spoiler, but I was really, really disappointed with the ending.
Yep, me too.
Like the way the game ended, I was like,
And
are
it's
you
kind of
fucking
because
serious?
the whole story is based around a kind of a character that I didn't think was as interesting as Nathan Hale. I mean, I think Nathan Hale becomes like, I don't think he's an interesting character, but I think the way like he becomes like stronger and like kind of essentially invincible, you know, is like really cool. And like I feel the same. Like I feel like I'm invincible in this game, but it's just a normal dude.
That's
like
true,
how is
too.
this guy not dying repeatedly? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you have to use health packs. That's what makes it make sense, Sam. No,
That bugs me.
I totally like Joseph Capelli as a character. Like the story in Resistance is great. Like I thought it was really grounded and it was easy to get on board with. You know, I mean, it's a simple fact of you're trying to, you know, make a better world for your son. Make sure he has something to live on, right? Because I love in the fact that, you know, in the beginning, which we've written about a million times if you didn't know, and it gets ruined in the beginning of the game. You know, Joseph doesn't want to go out on this mission. He just wants to put his head in the sand and be like, no, I'm gonna chill with my family. We have a nice life here. We're gonna live as long as we can. I thought that was cool.
I felt like the there's a lot of like lost pathos and whatever in the beginning. Like I thought like it kind of rushes through it, just like I do have to go now, and
Yeah,
I didn't really feel an attachment to my family or anything like
But
that.
the glove, the mitten,
The mitten,
Sam,
yeah.
the mitten.
Yeah, the mitten was the symbol.
I thought there's a lot of like one-liners that didn't work out so well in the game too, like the dialogue.
God.
There's like he kept on like hopping like let's do this type stuff. And,
I mean, I think the way the game like I love that intro sequence, and I know Greg like knows because I always talk about it, like just how Capelli explains everything, not when you're installing the game, but when you actually start the game or whatever. And he stops by saying like, you know, I basically stayed away as long as I could. Like, and like how the game begins and it just shows the Resistance logo like out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome. You know, like I was so excited when I played that in the game. You know, the game in Haven and St. Louis is so strong. The game is really strong all the way throughout, and you really there's a lot of twists and turns that are unexpected.
Yes.
But when you get to, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but when you get to New York, there's like a few, and we'll talk about it on the spoiler cast, but there's a few different ways the game could have went, and it went into the direction I wanted it to go least. And I was begging Greg to beat the game for like a while because I'm like, just beat the fucking game so we can talk about it. And he came into my room last night and we talked about it for a bit. And I'm honestly pretty upset about the way the game ended because the game had the potential to be even better than it was.
I just want to know. I want to know so much about the history of the game, and like I really like the world, and I like exploring like what the hell the Chimera are and all that stuff. And in this game, like the only inklings you get of that are like in notes that you pick up as collectibles.
It's interesting.
There's no big tie-in to a bigger storyline. It feels like
Playing through it and watching people react to it too. And it isn't, but it reminds me of a reboot of a franchise in a lot of ways.
it is like reboot because it's like the first game and gameplay elements. And
exactly.
I mean, change multiplayer a lot.
Nehemiah writes into Beyond at IGN.com and says, "Would I be completely lost story-wise if I played Resistance 3 without playing the first two?"
No way.
And because this game can stand alone. This could have just been a reboot, blah blah blah. Because you don't need to know the Nathan Hale stuff that much.
I don't agree with that though because. I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, but I mean, in what regard don't you?
You don't know what Project Abraham is. You don't know like what happened in Europe.
You don't fucking need to know any of that.
But it's like Capelli kills the main character of the game. And I'm sorry if people think that's a spoiler. It's really not a spoiler anymore. Capelli kills Nathan Hale.
The opening cinema of the game.
And it's like, that to me is important because you don't know how they got to this point. Like, Resistance 3 is bleak, but it wasn't this bleak. If you remember in Fall of Man, they're fighting in London. They're fighting in like in suburban England with like a bunch of soldiers by your side. Like, the Chimera had just taken over. Like, we don't really know what's going on. Like, Europe had just been swept up. Like, there's people alive and stuff like that. Like, that game is not nearly as bleak as Resistance 2, which is not nearly as bleak as Resistance 3. And I feel like it's important to get to that point where 90% of humanity has been, killed or turned into hybrids.
And I understand that. And don't get me wrong, I understand that then it has more impact. But I'm saying you can pick up Resistance 3 and watch that opening, the loading movie, and then the movie, when he's talking, and you get what's happening. I think it's totally, it reminds me of a reboot or a standalone game. that you could take off the
when they
number.
say 90% of humanity is gone, that actually was like something that I was really hyped about. I was like, this is going to feel really different. But then it just felt like everywhere you went, it was like a little more wrecked, and there was still like people everywhere. I don't really get like what, like that didn't play out for me too well. I was like, and everybody has electricity, and I don't know, kind of. It's kind
They
of
have
weird.
a washer and dryer in Haven, Oklahoma. It's
It
like,
doesn't
really?
make any sense.
I mean, I kind of like that because
How are they generating power? Maybe they're tapping off the
gas and maybe they're like obviously the power conduits that the Chimera use. I mean, I wasn't looking too deeply into that. I guess there's ways that they can use generators and have gas and
I would like them to explain that. Like, how are they scraping by? Like, why is it when I come across like stragglers, they're not worse off,
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the Chimera could have easily killed everybody by now.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Nehemiah knows how hectic your schedule's been with Shadow and the TGS, so he threw you a bone here in this Resistance breakdown. He said,
cool.
Ryan, did you give Greg or Colin a hug today?
No, not yet.
You monster.
I'm sorry.
I
gave you a hug yesterday.
Yeah, I know. You did a good hug yesterday,
That was
too.
a good hug.
Brian has a question for you, Colin.
Okay.
Colin,
Yeah.
I was sad to see that you didn't review Resistance 3.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of multiplayer, so is the solo campaign worth the price of admission?
I think so. I mean, again, it depends on your attachment to the series and like if you care about the next step in the series. That's why I wrote on Facebook this week. Like people have been asking me that same question, which is like, do I play Resistance 3 without having played Fall Man and Resistance 2? And my answer really is like, why do you care about Resistance 3 if you didn't play Fall Man and Resistance 2?
Because it's a good game. It's a good story.
Yeah, but it's like it's like the tail end of the story,
Yeah.
that we know so far anyway. And I don't know. I'm more riveted by like Sam said the lore and the mythology of the Chimera and like what happened in the events leading up to Fall Man and then Resistance 2, because Fall Man and Resistance 2 happened like really close to each other, but there's like 50 years of backstory about the Chimera being in Russia and stuff that we haven't even really explored.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. Like
Yeah.
the little inklings you get of that is like really neat. Like why were these in Russia? And in this game, they're like, they're talking about these other origins of them, and I don't know. I'm
As a
little
hater
more
of
confused.
space and aliens, though, I was like totally down with just getting to a core human story and going with it.
But this game's. I mean, like I feel like they're trying to do a zombie game with this game, like a
I could see that.
post-apocalyptic thing. Like this is like going across the United States. It's been completely ravaged, and there's like there's hordes, and they're completely overwhelmed. And there's even like a subplot, which I won't go into it, but the spoiler cast we can talk about this a lot, which is completely ripped out of Walking Dead's comic book series.
Yeah.
Like really, like almost shamefully. But I like
Capelli
it.
has a son named Carl who wears a cowboy hat all the time.
Yes, with no eye.
Oh man, wow.
I can't wait for the spoiler cast so we can just really delve into it.
Yep.
But
Yeah. So let's get one more question here before we go. We already answered that. Mitchell, your question was. Oh, Mitchell asked, what did it do worse than Resistance 1 and 2? Obviously, the bleakness and the background and all that. We've
yeah,
covered
and
that.
like there's definitely, and I don't think it's a spoiler to say that there is just no lore and mythology in the game compared to Resistance 1 and 2. But I think more damaging is the length of the game. I really enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed it from
I
front
didn't feel
to.
like it was as short as you, man. I don't know.
I beat it.
didn't
I
feel
beat it.
short
I
to
beat
me.
it in 9 hours.
I mean, I did. It did take very little to beat it. Yeah, I mean,
9
I don't
hours
know.
on hard though, Sam. It's like
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
Like,
It was really the last level stretched out for me because they got harder. But I feel like I did kind of
because
cook through the first
they
ones.
do the totally fucking tired bullshit of, oh no, now clear everybody's running into this room, clear them out and
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah, they did do
Okay,
that.
now go in this room. Oh no, now everybody's running into this room, clear these guys. It's like, oh,
I guess it's clear to me that
It was
Resistance
such a chore to
1
finish that game.
Resistance 1 is so much longer than both of them.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like it was more like 2, but you think even 2 was longer?
yeah, I feel like 2 is longer.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it
remember
wasn't,
much
but
of
I
you're still exploding. You still want to say so much about this game,
Yeah.
but you're taking in the spoiler cast.
Yeah, I can, and the mythology of the game, like that was a big problem, or whatever. But I still enjoyed the gameplay from front to back. I enjoyed the story and what it told in that context, and I really could have used more of it. Like I could have used an entirely another city, like another stop on the fucking post-apocalyptic
Let me give you
voyage.
something I really like about Resistance 3 because we've been talking about a lot of negative stuff. I really like.
I mean,
having-
we gave it a 9. Everybody backs
Yeah.
the 9, but we do like.
Well, I think it's really cool that they do this video gamey thing where they give you all the weapons in the game all the time. So that by the time you're at the end of the game, they need to throw stuff at you that makes it so like you're
You're
like,
out of all your
which
bullets in
weapon,
one gun.
or which weapon should I use? It's like Ratchet and Clank in that way.
Yeah.
It's like which is going to be the best for the situation. Then you kind of remember that one of these guns has this like
Oh yeah, my
something
secondary
else.
fire on this does
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
and
I
he
was
was like,
doing that
oh,
last night.
well, I could have used that, and I think that's really interesting.
That is- I agree with
and
that.
that's why I think Superhuman is going to be a totally awesome playthrough.
Yeah, it's tough. I'll tell you what, like when I busted out, like, and this is not a spoiler either because everyone's seen this video. The very first conflict you have in the game with the Chimera, when the Chimera rips that guy through the like he hits the beer bottle and like the guy like gets ripped out of the wall, whatever. I like died like right after that.
Wow.
Like I was like,
That's
holy,
great.
like you really have to like take cover in the game, like because I'm used to just like taking a little bit of damage and like ripping these guys apart. I'm just like getting shot like by the Chimera like 3 times and I'm dead. So,
But health packs, lots of weapons. These are like old school shooter
Mm-hmm.
elements that I think are like fun to experience again because everybody's doing
Regenerative
rechargeable,
health,
regenerative health, and 2 weapons or 4 weapons.
and I also think it's a fun experience, real quick, Greg, or just to explain.
touch
You had seen
Okay, now you touch
seen Resistance 3's review from our Australian team.
Yeah.
And you asked me what I would like, and I didn't know that you had it. Like, what would you give Resistance 3?
Yeah.
And what did I say?
You said 9.0.
Yeah. So it got
That's always a good moment. I love it when we're all together on a game, and it's not somebody's giving a score we don't necessarily agree with, and you got to try to have a conversation or whatever.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been asking me about that, and I'm like,
While we're on the subject,
Yeah.
excellent review from Steven.
I thought
over
it was
in
awesome.
Australia.
We've gotten a lot of compliments about that review from people. I think it was a great read. I think it covered all the bases.
Yeah.
And we don't always agree with each other's scores, and we have conversations and stuff like that. But I think, like Greg said, I think we're all on the same page that Resistance 3 is really an awesome game.
And it's nice to see. I think it's interesting to see people you don't normally see talk about Resistance or PlayStation exclusives talking about it. Like on the days leading up to it, everybody's Twitter, like you see Jeff Keighley and stuff like that. People popping up to say that they loved Resistance 3 and it's getting scores that are in the same ballpark. You know what I mean? Like it as an industry, sometimes you do see people overlook PS3 exclusives, and not necessarily because they are being biased or something, just because they don't. That's not their console of choice or whatever. You know what I mean? It's easier to see more sites pick up games that are 360 later.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the 3-year development time instead of 2 years that it took Fall Man and Resistance 2 helped.
Yeah, especially. Yeah.
There's so many shooters coming out in the next couple of weeks.
know,
I'm
I
worried
know.
about its longevity.
Yeah, exactly. People got to get on it now. That question was from Mitchell. Mitchell, of course, is M-Dog. Remember M-Dog with his Beyond shirt and his PlayStation Move controller? He also started a Beyond fan group on my IGN. He wants people to go join. So you can go to people.ign.com/podcastbeyondfans.
Cool. Check
All
that out.
lowercase. Ryan,
Yeah.
what do you say we hit up some reader mail?
Yeah, sorry. I was too far away from my mic there.
Okay.
Goodness. I'm here now.
All right, you ready for some reader mail?
Sorry.
How long have we been going? It seems like it's been a
It's
medium
been
one.
50 minutes, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with Kyle. He has one of my favorite questions, I think, of this week.
All right, cool.
Kyle says, I recently moved from my home in Valencia, California to go to school at UC Berkeley. I left behind my friends, mom, 2 younger brothers, 2-year-old sister, and my PS3 smiley face. I've been pretty homesick in the fact that I miss my family, but I have really enjoyed it up here in Berkeley. Making new friends, going to classes, experiencing what it's like to be an adult, sort of. I was just curious as to what your experience were leaving home for college. Were you homesick or too excited to notice? And what video games did you play? I have been playing my underused PSP, Dissidia, because I no longer have a PS3 with me. Kyle, I want you to know that Ryan Clements is bumping his fist at the mention of Dissidia on the PSP.
God,
So,
if that game comes out for the Vita, I'm going to flip my shit.
wow, okay. I bet it will. Probably. College experiences. Sam.
No,
Well-
I'm gonna fucking cut off Sam because you guys have
Wow.
been talking Resistance for like
Yeah, I know,
25 minutes.
I
So I'm gonna go
Sorry.
first. Sorry, Sam.
It's cool. I understand.
So here's the thing. I actually, when I went to college, I feel like it almost didn't even count because I was only an hour drive away from home.
Yeah.
So while I got to enjoy the dorm life and being away from home, I knew that my family was close by. I actually was not homesick at all. I don't know about you guys.
Sam.
Well, I stopped playing video games for a little while at the end of high school, and I got a girlfriend, and I was like,
That's usually how it
this
goes.
worked out well. And but then actually, my girlfriend and I decided in high school to move together to go to a school in Tucson, Arizona, and to University of Arizona, and we were there, and I was like, man, I don't have a video game system, but there's all these great games coming out. I think like maybe this was right when Perfect Dark and stuff was coming out on Nintendo 64 because that's what I remember wanting to play. And then
You're old.
a friend of mine. Yeah, I guess so.
No, I'm
this
kidding.
Is, this is in 1999.
I remember-
I graduated in 99.
Yeah, I remember when I was in high
Some years
school,
after
like junior year, when we were playing GoldenEye,
Yeah,
or whatever. Perfect.
And I went. We would go over to this guy's house, who was another friend from high school, had moved to the same university, and he had like the tiniest TV ever, like the one I have set up
Yeah.
for my Nintendo. And that's where I did all my four-player split screen. And I mean, like I have I think long-lasting eye problems from that.
Oh, yeah, I
it's
believe it, I
crazy.
believe it.
I'd always sit in front of the TV, and then other people would like claim the couch, and I was like, I'm gonna be better than you because they can't see as well.
Colin.
Yeah, I mean, what struck me about his letter was that he left his PS3 behind because
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
had the exact opposite experience when I went away to college, which is I took like all these plastic Rubbermaid bins. I put like my Xbox and my GameCube and my PS2 in them with all my games. Like I made sure like I had everything with me. The one lasting memory I have, and I don't remember exactly when it was the game I played honestly probably the most in college, like the most consecutively, and it was very weird for me was Rainbow Six 3 on Xbox, which I played the shit out of that game. And we had like these awesome, T1 connections in college, which were somewhat rare back then. And
Because that wasn't online. You had to have a local area network, or was that?
No, that was online. That was online. So I was able to actually like host games and like leave my Xbox on, and people would be able to like, I'd be able to like serve a game and have it run really well. And I remember always being paranoid that I was using too much bandwidth and I would get in trouble and stuff like that. And
So of course you were
That's such
paranoid.
a weird
No
idea.
surprise.
but it's
Too much bandwidth.
yeah, it's like I'm such a single player game guy, and I played a lot of single player games at that time. But that was the game I played that game for. Like I would leave my door open in my dorm, and
Yes.
and like I would just be sitting in a chair with my Xbox headset on, and people would just like come in and out, and, like talk to me and stuff. And I just played that game so much. I just loved that game.
Yeah, that was my experience too. I went to University of Missouri, of course, and then I was from Illinois, the Chicago suburbs, so it was like 6 hours away. I wasn't homesick, totally excited to be out, on your own, doing your own thing. And yeah, I brought my PS2, and I started school in 2001, so it was still a novelty that I had a PS2. Like a lot of people didn't have PS2s yet, so it's still a big deal. And so yeah, I would leave the door open and play games, and people would come in. And like the defining game, I've talked to Colin about this before, was GTA 3. GTA 3 came out, that fall, and when we got that, like the people came in all the time. And I remember anytime I was in a car and I was driving, I'd have Chatterbox on, and if I tried to stop the thing in the middle of a joke, people would flip their shit. They'd be like, no, I gotta finish it. So we had to drive around and just listen to what Laszlo was saying until we were done. Then I could get out and go do the mission and do everything else. Yeah. But yeah, college is a great time. Get out there. Enjoy yourself. We have a whole bunch of college questions. You can tell that kids are...
I was in college for like 8 years.
What the hell were you doing there?
Well, they made me after I graduated. I had to take classes to keep a job. So
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense
yeah,
then.
it was funny.
Connor writes in. He says, "What's going on, Greg, Colin, Ryan, and whoever else might be on the podcast right now?" Question mark. Sam, that's him, yeah. I was just walking down the campus of University of Oregon and happened to see something very familiar. A Beyond t-shirt. Now, in the few seconds it took to
Amazing.
register what it actually was and muster the courage to let out a hearty Beyond. We passed each other and my chance was gone. So I would like to give a tardy but very loud Beyond to whoever that was, as I'm sure they are listening. Yes.
You can't
That's
have
pretty
fear
awesome.
when it
I
comes
know.
to that shit.
People do that all the
Jeez.
time.
Just
Yell it.
slam them on the back and be like, "Yo, dude, I'll be on." And if they're like, "I just got this shirt off a homeless man," then you can run
Homeless
like
men
fuck.
listen to the podcast.
That's good advice for Kyle or any of the new collegiate freshmen out there. And don't be afraid of anything at college. Totally go. Like I remember when I got there. Well, that sounds weird. But when I went to Mizzou, I knew no one. Nobody else from my graduating class went there, and I was in a different state. So literally, like I made friends with my roommates and some other kids. And then one day they all went out of town or whatever on a Friday night. So I literally just walked down the hall until I found an open door. Walked in and said, "Hey, you want to be friends?" And I hung out with them for the entire weekend. They made a whole. I did that several times that year of just meeting new people, and that's how it was. Because
That's awesome.
if you feel homesick or awkward or whatever, everybody else is doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone else is in that exact same boat, so don't be afraid to reach out.
Dude.
And if they don't like you, fuck them. There's a million people at your school probably.
Dude, yeah, freshman year it has the potential to be the funnest year. Freshman year is a shit show if you let it be. Study hard, work hard, or whatever, but
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
to make those friends. Like the people that I met my freshman year, are, like maybe 4 or 5 of them are still really good friends of mine. Like really
Totally,
good friends of
yeah.
mine. So just remember that. Like it almost makes high school in a way meaningless. Like you only take 1 or 2 people from high school with you, but people that you meet in college are the ones that stick with you for a long time.
Ryan Clements.
Hi.
Are you aware that now on the mobile app for, not even the mobile site, m.ign.com, you can listen to podcasts on it? You can,
What?
You click on the little block tabs and you get the podcast. You can listen to podcasts right there on your iPhone. Stream them right there.
Holy shit.
What's up, guys? My name is Chase Williams. Chase wrote into beyond.ign.com like anybody should. Everybody should. And I attend college at Texas A&M University. Boo.
Back to school episode.
I know,
like
right?
this.
I've been listening to you guys on
Back to
bus rides
school.
in the morning, and when it's in class, I simply take my headphones off and put them away. Today, however, I was listening to the podcast off the mobile website rather than the iPod. This meant that when I took the headphones out, it simply paused the show. I was unaware, however, that if you entered Safari again, the audio would start back up out of the speakers. So halfway through the class, I decided to check my phone and unlocked it, taking me straight to the podcast. Immediately, your voices blared out my speakers and resonated through the whole auditorium. My professor was furious and even looked right at me as I fumbled to turn it off. What are some embarrassing moments that happened to you guys in class during college?
It could have been a lot more embarrassing if
if it was me,
Yeah.
like saying like you fuckers.
All the horrible things we say on the show. and then- yeah.
things.
Embarrassing moments from college or
I
college
gotta
classes.
think.
he wants.
I have some doozies.
Yeah.
I'm a horribly awkward person sometimes.
See,
so.
college, especially freshman year, was the moments when I started embracing the philosophy I tell people now. Knocking boots was burning bridges. What do you care if somebody doesn't like you? Because I went to college with blue hair, so like it was hard to embarrass me seeing as how I had blue hair and dorky sunglasses. Also, freshman year of college. Have I ever talked about this on the show? My outfit, my
Your
freshman
jean
year.
shorts?
Yes. So I have. We
You
can
have.
move on. Okay, fine then. Hawaiian shirt, wrestling T-shirt. Every day of the year. Every day of freshman year, I wore that, and then it was jean shorts and red high tops. I was looking for attention, clearly, and I got it quite a bit. No real embarrassing moments. I once got stopped in class because I was talking, and they were like, "Oh, what do you do?" And like, it was a huge lecture hall. I was like, "It's fourth grade. Fuck off."
I always felt bad because I would be so exhausted from. I actually was kind of like a workaholic in college most of the time, and I didn't really party at all, and so I would sort of start dozing off a lot in classes, and that was just ultra embarrassing. Anytime I knew that the professor noticed, I would feel so bad because I'm like, it's not your fault.
Do you think you did like the nodding head thing where your head goes down?
Oh,
during
you
class?
snap back up.
I
yeah.
love seeing people do that in
It's
class.
it's so embarrassing because then I want to just be like, look, professor,
Look, dude. Yo, bro.
it's not you, all right. I clearly am just exhausted from other shit. It's not that your class is putting me to sleep, you know.
But it was.
Oh.
Colin, what do you got? What embarrasses you from college?
I didn't really have any embarrassing moments as much as I had just these, being a history major. We had you were with the same people all those years, like the same
Yeah.
history majors the entire time, and you got to really know people and like just not like some people and really like some people. And it wasn't even a personal thing; it was like an ideological thing where you just have like these insane fights, and you knew you could like in class about like certain political or historical things, and you knew you could say like certain things to like get under people's skin and stuff like that, and you would just say like you would just say them, see how they would react and stuff like that. Those classes were funny. Like I learned, I really actually learned a great deal in college, and I had a great time. I had like some bad social moments where like I was in bad shape, but like,
Oh, yeah.
but
Don't worry about that.
yeah, but educationally it was a great experience. I didn't have anything where I was like called out in class or things of this nature. Although we had some heated debates on the Constitution and the Revolution and all those things that only complete fucking nerds care about.
Sam, what do you got for me?
Man, I guess in college, I never experienced embarrassment, I don't think, but because my favorite classes were like the intro creative writing classes where you would read each other's stuff. You'd like take it home, mark it up, bring it back,
stuff.
and then you kind of break away and talk about it. And like, dude, it was amazing. It was like some of the most fun I've ever had. It's like reading people's like personal short stories and
awesome.
poetry, and they're just if they're terrible or like really personal or whatever, it was just so great. I love that. But I have a funny story. My friend Steve farted during the SATs, and everybody laughed.
Did he do it on purpose, or he just come out?
Oh, he laughed too. So
Okay, good. He was
great.
in on the joke.
I've had a few of those though, where you like, you bend over to get something or whatever, and you just fart, and you're like, you kind of like sit right back out, you pretend like it didn't happen.
Yep.
everybody's silent.
Everybody-
though,
it
the room,
happens all the
taking
time.
the SATs, and he just
happens all the
rips
time.
one. Everybody laughed.
He did it on purpose.
I don't know.
We'll never know.
That I can guarantee you that every human being on the planet has an embarrassing fart story, though. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah, I just wish we weren't embarrassed about farts because they're funny.
Yeah.
The best.
Tanner writes into beyond@ign.com.
About farts?
No.
No.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Why the heck did you delete your Facebook page?
Oh man!
Did you really delete your Facebook
Yes.
page? Oh my god, I thought it was a
At-
misnomer.
At
what
long
the F
last.
happened?
I was so sick. I had like a sort of moment over the weekend where I thought to myself, you know what? I'm sick. I am sick of seeing just all this fucking micromanagement from the 4,000. I love you guys, but like the 4,000 IGN readers that I'm friends with on Facebook. Facebook
Yeah.
was just not meant for that sort of.
No, that's why
know.
you should. Why didn't you migrate to a fan page like I did at facebook.com/GameOverGreg?
Well, I
Come
want-
like me, everyone.
Look, I want a Facebook account, and what I will eventually do once this one is deleted is start a small private
That's
one
what I'm
just
gonna
for my friends.
eventually have to do, yeah.
And I'm going to do that. But guys, if you
That's my
want,
idea.
if you want to interact with me, I tweet back at a lot of people. If you have like a question or some concerns,
Yeah, I
if
think
you
Twitter's
tweet
like
at
the
me-
ultimate IGN reader.
Yeah, if you-
interaction,
It's great
man.
because it limits it, right? You can't
Yeah.
write me a book, and I don't have to see that you're having a party in Oklahoma. It's like great.
Yes, exactly. So yes, I did delete my account. Yes, I will probably open up a new one at some point in the future. And I'm sorry, but no, it will only be for friends that I know in real life. However, there are a lot of readers that I have met personally and have hung out with, and I will totally
They're our friends now.
That because you are my friend at that point, and so yeah, you can.
So here's the thing about Facebook though that you guys should have been doing for a while, because this is what I do. I won't delete my Facebook account solely because my school was one of the first ones on there. And my account's mad old, so I just want to keep it.
Yeah.
Because it's like so friggin' old compared to so many people's Facebook. It's from like early 2004.
Yeah.
See, I resisted Facebook forever because I always thought like when Facebook started gaining popularity as I was graduating, so I was like, I don't want. This is a young kid thing, and then like, now everyone uses it professionally or whatever. So it's
Yeah,
like
I mean it's an important tool.
I was
but
forced to get on it in a performance review.
really.
Yes.
Wow.
it's a
At
great.
IGN.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a cool tool, but like whenever I add, I get like maybe 200 friend requests at a time, like and then I accept them all the time. But I add everyone to a list called people I don't know. That like people I don't know, and then if at one point if I'm like
You
I
just
want to
have a people
liberate,
I don't know list.
yeah,
That's
and then if I want
I had
to
a fan-
and if
I
I want to
had a friends
liberate
fan
people or liberate my profile at some point, then I just delete that entire list.
See, my
Oh,
thing
guess
was,
what? Wait, hold on. That's what I tried to fucking do. Guess what? You can't. There is no way to batch delete people in Facebook, which means you'll have to go through
troubling.
all those hundreds of thousands of people and
Hundreds of thousands.
and just click delete. Yes. Loading window pop up. Are
Can you do it
sure?
within that
yes.
folder, though?
Next
I mean-
person. No. When you try and delete the list, it will delete that list, and then all those people will just go on to your batch friends. That's the reason I was
That's
starting.
troubling.
I started to
Yeah,
go
that's-
through saying, oh, you know what? I'm just going to delete all the readers, and I'll just keep my friends and family on
Yeah.
here. It'll be fine. Can't. So guess
Troubling.
what, buddy? You're stuck.
You better start deleting those. First of all, your Facebook profile never actually disappears.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
If you actually request deletion, they will delete
They will
it.
delete it straight out. There used to be that
You have-
activation thing.
you have to, like, do an email
no,
or
you can
something?
you can deactivate it and it'll go away, but it's still there to
Yeah,
reactivate. But you can actually go into your account and say request deletion, and you get an email saying in 14 days your account will be deleted.
That's sad. I wouldn't want to do that.
They have to mine your
Well, I'm
information
sad
first.
too. All my family is on there, but what are you gonna do? I do not want to hear about your Oklahoma parties,
Yeah.
as you guys said.
but we love you guys. Thanks for caring about it.
It's just too much,
Facebook.com/GameOverGreggy.
too much information.
I want to
just-
know about this Oklahoma party.
All right, final email of the week comes from Justin Das. He writes in and says, read the IGN review of Dead Island. Hey, I wrote that. Saw I got an 8 and an editor's choice from Greg. Want to know what the criteria is for editor's choice? What does an editor's choice mean? Can a game with a good idea and poor execution get an editor's choice?
Justin's friend of a show, by the way. Yeah, friend of the show.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. He's my friend on PSN. We've been talking for a long time. Good dude.
What's his PSN name?
He and his brother on there. One of them is Karma Chameleon. One of them is his is I think Jushin. Jushin. Maybe he didn't want that out there. Though.
Whatever, it's out there now. Hit of the week. Boom, Jushin. Justin, thanks for asking. Editor's choice for a long time was tethered to basically anything that was 8.5 or better, and then we took that restriction off a few years ago, saying just like it's basically for me an editor's choice award is me saying regardless of the score, I like this game. It's a personal favorite. This is a good collection. You should be, it's that kind of thing. I mean, we're talking in hypotheticals here. Poor execution, but a good idea. I don't think that would pan out too much. I mean, like if the game's really not running well, like Naughty Bear is a good idea of a game, but I didn't give it
Hell of a
choice.
game.
But regardless of the flaws of textures or think hands going through walls in Dead Island and like some crappy animations and stuff.
Load animation.
Oh, what the load
That's the load animation for the Dead Island if you have a gun.
Oh, when you're reloading again.
Yeah, when you're
okay, I
reloading
thought you meant
again.
like it was loading. Anyways,
No.
like stuff like that, I still think the game's great. I still think you should play it. So that's what that means to me, and I think that's what most people interpret it as. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, sounds about right to me.
Colin?
I just give editor's choice or whatever I want.
Yeah, you don't care. You're Colin. The Colin's choice they call it.
Yeah, I think you have a pen on your forehead.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Correct.
Cool.
I was just about to notice that. but-
Where is it? Like here?
Yeah.
right now,
I
right
did
above
notice
your
that. That's
eyebrow.
funny.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
I'll wash it up before I
you'll
lunch.
get it.
I
You
just
look
think
like
you
you're
should
angry
laugh
on
at
one side, like Uncle Leo.
Yeah, Uncle Why are you so? No, the doctor comes into the office. Seinfeld.
Calm down.
By the way, guys, if you're not following Seinfeld stories on Twitter, you need,
it's so
you
good.
need to be following
And
Seinfeld
make sure
stories.
that you tell them Game Over Greggy and No Taxation sent you.
Yeah, when I noticed that they were following me, I was like, yes.
They're fans. I told you that story, right?
I don't think so. When did they listen to the podcast?
The first time I ever added Seinfeld stories, I was like, oh, these guys are saving. At Seinfeld stories is saving the trip. They direct messaged me and said like, that's awesome. We're huge fans of IGN. I was like, awesome. All right, that's cool.
Oh, that shit is so funny. I love it. I just love what they do.
Yeah,
So,
they're awesome.
yeah.
Speaking of the social media, we're gonna wrap up the show. But before we do that, make sure you follow us and stuff like that. Go to IGN.com every day for your video game news. Tell friends about Podcast Beyond. You like the show. You have friends who play video games. Do they know about the show? Make sure you tell them about it and then ask them to rate us on iTunes. And make sure you help expand the listener base so we have legs to stand on and be awesome. Follow IGN on Twitter at IGN. Follow me on Twitter at GameOverGreggy. Follow Clements at Puam Cider.
Yeah.
Follow Colin at No Taxation. Follow Sam
I'm
at
Samuel_IGN.
I thought that's about right.
Hey,
And then
Greg.
follow us all on my IGN.
Oh, sorry.
And go to guides.ign.com and help Sam with all his guides.
I was gonna say you just recently passed a huge mark in your Twitter followers.
I did.
20,000.
Yes, yesterday I had
Unbelievable.
20,000 Twitter followers.
I still,
Thank you all.
Now I'm very lucky. I almost have like 9,000 of you fine folk, but I really I still want to hit 10,000. You have to help me, guys.
Okay.
Everybody has to follow me on Twitter.
Follow him with fake accounts that you create. Just
There you go.
Just to increase his
You can
numbers.
hear about
Follow
health
me.
snacks.
What's that?
You can hear about health snacks.
I only tweet about health snacks once in a while.
Health snacks.
Yeah, healthy snacks.
Take me home.
Okay. Get my paper. Here's a letter that I received from Thomas. By the way, you can send email to beyond@ign.com if you want to be featured in our little Artist of the Week section at the end of this show here.
And questions.
Yeah, and questions. But, that's everything. Beyond, my name is Thomas. I am from Belfast, Northern Ireland, and I have listened to the show for some time now and figured I would try sending along a song. I have two different musical styles. One is pretty much standard rock and acoustic stuff. The other, which I perform under the name Polynormal-Y, is effectively my attempts at soundtracks for games that don't exist. I've opted for the latter. The song I've sent is Snakes and Ladders from 2009. All my music is available free on Last.fm, I should say. Just search Polynormal and then the letter Y. Even if this doesn't get played, I hope you understand how much we as listeners appreciate your hard work.
We appreciate you listening.
Love from Thomas from Belfast,
Belfast.
Northern Ireland.
Spider-Man.
Belfast. So let's play Snakes and Ladders, which you can find on Last.fm. And I think that's about it for me today, Greg.
Beyond!
Beyond.
Behind.
Beyond.